Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So recently I've been told that my content is obscene for the sake of being obscene and not educational. So to exploit that fact, as you can tell by the title, I decided to make it even dirtier. For those of you who clicked on this video thinking that you were going to get some weird porn on YouTube, I'm sorry, but you've just been clickbaited. However, you might as well stick around because one, you're already here, and two, I am about to talk very, very dirty. Because today we are going to be talking about how messed up the sex education system is in the United States of America. So, without further ado, let's talk about sex. The very first thing that I feel like I should mention about sex education in America is that only 24 states require it in schools. 24, and the District of Columbia, out of 50 states. Of that 24 in the District of Columbia, only, I believe it's 14 or 18. I couldn't find the exact statistic, but it's one of those, in that range. Only 14 to 18 of those states require that this education be medically accurate. Now, what does medically accurate mean whenever it comes to sex education? It means that proper terminology is used. This is where we find the issue of people not knowing the difference between the vulva and the vagina and not realizing that there's two holes. So yeah, you don't have to use proper terminology in, I can't do the math right now, but that many states. And I'm not gonna say the states because I feel like we all kind of have an idea of what these states are. And I just don't want to do that kind of damage to those states because they're doing it on their own. So, 24 states require sex education. 14 to 18 require it to be medically accurate. It gets worse from here, believe it or not. 33 states require HIV and AIDS prevention. While they are required to teach about AIDS and HIV, which is heavily concentrated on the fact that gay people are the reason that this kind of phenomenon happened, they aren't required to teach anything else about sex, anything. Not about the human body, not about contraceptive measures, probably abstinence, but we'll get into that later. But they do require HIV or AIDS prevention, which can be a really good thing, except for that the narrative about it is completely flawed. Scare tactics tends to be the favorite choice of sex education in America, and this is especially prevalent within the HIV and AIDS curriculum. I remember from my time in school, I was terrified of gay people because in 5th grade, I sat down at my desk. They put on a video, and that video told me that gay men had sex with each other, got HIV, which turned into AIDS, and they died. And then they also mentioned that you could get it from using drugs, and don't do drugs. But I really genuinely believed for the longest time that AIDS was something only gay people could get. I didn't think that it could ever happen to me. And they briefly touched on the fact that it can be passed down from mother or father to baby. But in my head, I was like, well, you just told me that gay people are the reason, and gay people can't have children, so that's never gonna happen. And boy, was I mistaken. And that's... I just need to take a second. This makes me so angry. And this is why I talk about stuff like this, because this is important. If we keep having this false leading information going on to these open-minded, vulnerable children, this is how the misinformation spreads and becomes prejudice. This is where you're getting children who aren't using usually teenagers, who aren't using protection, and they're the ones getting pregnant, getting STDs, getting AIDS, because they don't know, because they're being taught that there should be no knowledge. And the issue is that kids are going to do whatever the heck they want to do. They don't care. If you tell them not to do it, they're probably going to do it more. That's kind of been proven. That's a psychological thing. I don't know if you had sex education whenever you were in school, but mine was, we did the HIV thing, and it was also very heavily focused on abstinence. I grew up in the South. Just send a little prayer for me. Yeah, so I grew up in the Bible Belt South, and I didn't even learn what a condom was until I was like 13, and that's because I found out about it on Tumblr or something myself. They did not mention a condom in my sex education classes. I was terrified. I was begging my parents to opt out of me taking these classes because growing up, you're told that sex is bad. Mean Girls, love it. That's the perfect example. So whenever the coach says, if you have sex, you're gonna get pregnant, you're gonna die. That's what we're telling our children. It's not a movie, it's real life. And I would beg my parents, I'm like, please, I don't wanna go, I don't wanna learn about this, because I felt dirty. Just being in that class. And the class wasn't even teaching me anything valuable. It was telling me not to have sex because it's dangerous and to stay away from gay people, essentially. And I still didn't want to do it because I was ashamed of myself, because that's what society was telling me to feel. Whew, that was a rant. Going back to abstinence, 37 states require sex education to be abstinence-based. I know this kind of doesn't make sense where I said 24 states require sex education, but it can't really be a full and true sex education curriculum if you're only teaching abstinence. 37 states say that, yeah, we're gonna tell children what sex is, but we're not gonna tell them what the parts of their body are, what they mean, because that could lead them to have sex. We're gonna use scare tactics and tell them that if they do have sex, they're going to die because they're going to contract an STD, which is disgusting. And if they don't die, they're going to be a mockery of the entire town, and they might as well be dead because their reputation will be ruined if they have sex before marriage. And obviously this is more geared towards women. I only have the experience of having a female-oriented sex education class because ours were not co-ed, so I don't know what they were taught in the male classes. But from what I was told, the men happened to get more information, more medically accurate information. They learned a little bit more about their bodies. They were told what would happen in cases of if they were to have sex or whatever. Whereas the women, we were told, you know, it was the worst thing in the entire world if we had sex. And so we shouldn't even know about it. And we shouldn't even know about our bodies. And God forbid they taught us about masturbation. Pleasure? Teaching children that sex is pleasurable and learning about your body is pleasurable? Might as well put a scarlet letter on your back, because that is disgusting. I'm taken back to not only my 5th grade class, which was, oh my goodness, what, like 12 years ago? But I feel like I'm telling a story from the 50s or the 60s, you know? But this is real life. These statistics that I'm reading off to you are from 2018. This is real, and this is happening. And I'm being told that I am obscene for the sake of being obscene, for spreading correct information and letting people make their own decisions about their sexual well-being and being as informed as they can. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that abstinence is the only way to do it, because it's not. And while yes, it is the most safe form of contraception, it's not realistic. If everyone would be abstinent before they got married, maybe the world would be a happier place. I don't know. I don't think so, because I think sex is awesome. But to each their own on that theory. I think that this YouTube channel, as small as it might be, as obscene as it might be, as vulgar as it might be seen, is important. Because if somebody can learn from my experiences and avoid making the mistakes that I did when it comes to sex, then I've done my job, you know. I'm trying not to cry right now. This is pretty intense. So 22 states require information to be taught regarding avoidance of sexual coercion. Now, sexual coercion can take the form of rape. It's any kind of sex against will. This could include, and this is what happened to me. So, say you're with somebody and you really like them a lot and you're like making out or something, I don't know, whatever. And they start going further and you tell them no. You know, you don't feel that you're ready. That's fine, that's natural. It doesn't matter how old you are. That's okay if you're not ready, and you should be able to verbalize that with your partner. So you tell them that you're not ready. And they turn around and they're like, but I thought you loved me. That makes you doubt yourself, and it makes you feel guilty because we're taught that sex means love, which is not always the case. And they're using that against you. This happens so often, and it unfortunately made me have sex when I did not want to have sex. People don't understand that that is a form of sexual assault, I'll say, for lack of a better term. It's sex against your will. Even though you said yes, everything about your body language and maybe even verbally was saying no. But they took advantage of you and forced you into a position that you were not consenting to. Because there's a lot more to consent than just verbalization. A lot more to consent. And if more than 22 states, if all 50 states required information to be taught regarding sexual coercion, maybe we wouldn't have instances of this happening to people. Maybe people would realize that this is a form of sexual battery, sexual abuse, sexual assault. But they don't. They say, she said yes or he said yes. So that means that it's okay, even though they were manipulated into that decision. So, with all of that being said, and I know that I went off on some tangents and I got upset, but this is something that I'm very passionate about, and it breaks my heart that some people think that that I've created this in order for me to just be a slut. Because trust me, I'm a slut without the camera on, and I'm okay with that. This is our life. This is our children's lives. This is our lives. This is our parents' lives. This is America. And this is 2018 statistics. This is happening now. There is a lack of information that is leading to so many issues within our society, and we're just turning a blind eye to them. So no, I am not going to shut up about sex or my sex life or contraception or anything regarded to it. I'm going to be as vulgar as it takes for people to wake up and understand that there's an issue with the ideas regarding sex in America. So, on that note, I hope you all have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, tell me what you think about how our system is. If you think it's appropriate to just teach abstinence-based sex, if you think that it doesn't need to be medically accurate, the information that's being given in school. If you think that, that's fine. As long as we're being respectful with each other, let me know. Make sure that you share this with somebody who might need it. And I will see you next time. Bye.